the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 111 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where usually four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling, but for the first time in a while, because we've had a pretty decent run, and it might just be because we've all been told to stay at home, there's only three of us today.
Boo.
And you can probably tell, the long-term listeners will be able to tell from those two noises that the person who is missing is Brett. Sam, hello.
Hello, mate.
Where's Brett?
He is gambling.
Getting chucked onto a massive chip somewhere?
I tell you what, if the hardest part of the ring is the apron, the second hardest part of the ring is the giant poker chip.
I reckon they look quite comfortable, those poker chips.
I don't know if comfortable is the word. I don't know if I'd want to replace my mattress with one.
It's good for your back, though, the hard chip. Oh, lovely.
Okay, possibly. That's John. Hello, John.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Yeah,
good.
Man. Good.
Pretty good, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. It's been nice to watch a pay-per-view. And I actually felt, as I pressed play on this, I was pretty pumped for it. It felt big. It felt like a big event.
Yeah. I think kind of AEW are billing this as kind of maybe one of their bigger pay-per-views in the year. So obviously kind of Double or Nothing. I don't know what the kind of equivalent would be. Maybe WWE's Money in the Bank, or maybe bigger than that. Somewhere between that and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Casino Royale match with the big old chip to get the title shot kind of fits in with the whole Money in the Bank theme.
Yeah.
Certainly does. I don't think they'll be able to do the main event every year, necessarily.
No.
However much we might want them to. So, last week, we did a podcast, and it was the first ever episode of The Undertaking. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, didn't listen to it, Sam, what was it?
Oh, The Undertaking was a retrospective. It was the beginning of us looking over the Undertaker's entire pay-per-view career. So we did the first two matches that he ever appeared in for WWF, and you should go listen to it because it's really good. That's my own review.
Yeah, no, I actually listened back because we, whenever we add a lot of different sound clips and stuff like that, I like to try and listen back just to make sure they all worked okay, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, as long as we're happy, hey.
I got some feedback from my mother, of all people.
Yeah,
who said
what's her name again? Sally.
Diane.
How could I forget?
Diane. I say
Diane.
that so indignantly, like you should remember my
Mike and Diane, isn't it?
I know, and that's terrible. And she's listening now, and I've forgotten. Diane.
Well, she gave me some feedback, which was, oh yeah, it was all right. Probably it was okay. I think I prefer it when Adam hosts.
Yeah, that's what
which is, as a son, that kills me inside.
She just wants you to grow, Sam. Don't worry.
She knows full well that with these genes, I ain't growing anymore.
Dear me. Well, anyway, thanks, Diane. Please feel free to continue sending the feedback, especially when it's bigging up the host of Hardest Part of the Ring. So that was last week. This week, we are talking about AEW Double or Nothing 2020, and we're going to do it after this.
Now, Jungle Boy. Oh my God, he broke his neck. MJF's head bounced off that apron. The hard part of the ring is the apron. He's out.
AEW Double or Nothing 2020 was held in a couple of locations, both in Jacksonville, Florida. The first was the Daly's Place Amphitheater, and then the main event was, of course, held at the TIAA Bank Field, which is a terrible name for a stadium, but basically the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. The attendance was 0, although we've got to touch upon the huge effect that just having some sort of makeshift crowd makes. The difference it makes.
Gave it an indie show vibe, didn't it?
It did feel very indie show. And even though they obviously have the normal wrestlers around the ring, they also did have people in the seats behind them.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was... I'd be interested to know who those guys are. Maybe they're just random admin or production staff or something. I don't know.
This is going to sound like a stupid question. What's the difference between a theatre and an amphitheatre?
Is an amphitheatre dipped down?
Oh, is that it?
Isn't an amphitheatre open air?
Maybe that's it as well.
One of those is right.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
A real pro would just edit out the incorrect one, but I'm not going to do that. Amphitheatre is an open, circular or oval building with a central space surrounded by tiers of seats for spectators for the presentation of dramatic or sporting events. But yeah, they're open.
Oh,
Seems
okay.
to be the key thing, which means I was correct. But also, I think John was also slightly correct because they can be sunk down as well.
Thanks, guys.
No
We're
problem.
all winners here.
The comms team was Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. Is that right?
You know what? Yeah, I think Schiavone is meant to rhyme with Tony, so...
I mean, it was the rhyme that threw me slightly.
Sounds like a really background character in The Sopranos.
It does.
It does. As usual, I thought these three were really good. And I think
they've really found their stride, actually, as a comms team.
But I think as well as having the crowd, I just think AEW's whole approach towards the pandemic in general over the last, since it really began, just the fact that they've been transparent throughout the whole thing, not afraid to reference what's happening, they're updating us, like when wrestlers are isolating or not there, and they're also sort of acknowledging that people at home are having a rough time. It's just something that the WWE do not do.
No, they don't mention it at all, do they? So it's just a big elephant in the room with WWE.
Yeah, allegedly Sami Zayn is injured.
Well, exactly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The closest that they've come is Vince using some hand sanitizer. That's the only
Yeah,
sort of little
even with
reference.
because obviously MJF was out for quite a while because he was like quarantined effectively, and they even mentioned that. Like, they didn't shy away from it at all.
Yeah, and the fact that they mentioned, the terrible news about Hana Kimura, and they had the little thing in the title. Was it in the title sequence about
Yeah,
Shad
for Shad Gaspard. It's a real
You know,
tragedy for both of them.
Wrestlers that don't have any link to AEW necessarily, but obviously a lot of their roster will have worked with them and will know them. I can't see WWE doing that unless it's one of their Hall of Famers.
I don't know. I think kind of maybe selling WWE a little bit short there. I think kind of they've been surprisingly good a lot of the time with kind of paying respects to wrestlers who have passed away.
And to be honest with you, I'm saying this, we're recording this on the Tuesday. We had Monday Night Raw last night. There's a good chance maybe they did. Maybe they said something and I'm sticking the boot in. But if they didn't...
God damn you, WWE.
God damn them. But yeah, I just think that they're just... Whereas we'd say Vince and WWE are quite out of touch at times, I think AEW are very much in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of the tone and presentation of the shows is, again, something I want to touch on a bit later when we get around to the women's matches, but like kind of generally, I feel like AEW are a little bit more kind of, as you said, in touch with the fans and just generally kind of society, I guess.
Yeah. So let's go to the card.
All
We've
right.
got no pre-show Jones.
No pre-show Jones. So we had on the buy-in, Best Friends versus Private Party, number one contendership for AEW tag team titles. Pre-show Mewit, did you watch it?
I didn't, but I do know who wins.
Please enlighten us. I mean,
Okay.
Best Friends won, I believe.
that's right. I'd say, as if I'm a teacher giving you a quiz.
Do I get a point?
Sure.
Excellent. Taking that over to the next quiz.
No.
Main card, we have the Casino Ladder match. Frankie Kazarian versus Scorpio Sky versus Kip Sabian versus Joey Janela versus Orange Cassidy versus Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus versus Colt Cabana versus the debuting Brian Cage. We have MJF versus Jungle Boy in a singles match. We have the TNT Championship Tournament Final. Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson. We then had another singles match. Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. We have Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears. Not Sean Connery. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida in a no disqualification match for the AEW Women's title. John Moxley versus Mr. Brody Lee for the AEW World Championship. And finally, a Stadium Stampede match for the Broken Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy and the Elite versus the Inner Circle.
The winning team actually did get to keep Broken Matt Hardy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Pretty handy the way it worked out.
Long old card, isn't it?
That's
Long
it felt like
card.
there were a lot of kind of stumbling blocks in that card.
It was, I mean, to see it, what was it, over 3.5 hours?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was long.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy, especially when there's, as like we said with WrestleMania, the fact that there was no crowd probably helps to keep it a bit snappier. And you'd think maybe that would have happened here. There are definitely one or two matches that perhaps could have either happened on the buy-in or not at all. But we shall find out how we feel about it overall, because we're going to talk about the key matches first, which are going to be Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida, Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee, and then the Stadium Stampede. Then we'll talk about the best of the rest, the worst of the rest, pick out a star performer, and give the pay-per-view an overall rank out of 10 as well. And of course, this is going to be the first chance for us to take a look at our AEW draft picks on the podcast, because I know some of us have been keeping an eye a little bit on Dynamite here and there, but we haven't reviewed an AEW pay-per-view since the draft on the podcast. So interesting.
You say that with so much excitement, as if you, well,
I know part of it's good news, but we can do that as we go along. In fact, let's do it straight away, because we are going to start with the AEW Women's Championship. A no disqualification match, no countouts either. Nyla Rose, who Brett has in the draft, versus Hikaru Shida, who I have in the draft. What do we think of this match, Sam?
Oh, mate, it was probably one of the best women's matches that AEW have put on so far. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was solid, wasn't it? It felt like quite a feel-good match. Shida's very easy to like. Nyla Rose is quite easy to hate.
Yeah.
I thought the match itself was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away by it. I thought they did a good job. There's some really brutal bits. But I wasn't, didn't really grab me.
I liked it. I know what you mean. I wasn't blown away by it, but I think it was cool the way they did it, because obviously Nyla Rose has been a bit of a force, and you sort of tend to think that it's going to be very hard to beat her, so it kind of made sense to have the stipulation there. There were some fierce kendo stick shots. There were a couple of weak ones as well, but generally Shida is a bit of a menace with the kendo stick. And I hadn't seen loads of her before I picked her out, but since I picked her in the draft, I have sort of watched a couple more of her matches, and I'm a big fan of her pace and the running knees.
Yeah.
Great.
Really
great. I think she's great in ring. I think she's definitely one of the stronger female wrestlers in AEW in the ring.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose, I'm still not sure about Nyla Rose.
Yeah. It's kind of... Nyla Rose, I think, kind of suffers from the same criticism that I give a lot of bigger wrestlers, which is kind of like, would you be there if you weren't as big as this? Like, physically.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the answer is yes in her case, but I think kind of, she can't help her size. She's doing best she can, and it's she's playing to the strengths, isn't she? She's kind of a power wrestler doing all these beast bombs and stuff.
Yeah, and to be fair, she does add something different to that roster. Like she's big. She's very strong. She can throw people around all over the place.
And at least she does have some interesting stuff in her repertoire for a big person, because she does do the stuff off the top rope. Doing this, I suppose it's hard to tell, because if she wasn't a big person, then she'd arguably be more agile and then might have a different moveset. But I've
got to be honest, one of the things I did enjoy about this is the fact that kind of WWE have very much conditioned me to think that the first title defense is a bit of a given. Like, this was, I believe, her first proper title defense, at least her first major one. And I think kind of like, I was convinced it would just be a kind of, Nyla Rose to win, build up a few wins here and there, make it look as if she's a more dominant champion. I was very surprised by the outcome.
I was really surprised as well, because it does feel, I don't know, there's no obvious contenders in the women's division in AEW for the championship.
It's not,
so maybe that's a positive thing. Maybe because then you can have results like this, you can throw it on everyone.
For sure. I mean, it seems like they're maybe building up Chris Statlander to be maybe kind of top contender.
I like Chris Statlander. Like, I think she's really cool in the ring, but god damn it, I hate that gimmick so much. Oh, I hate that gimmick.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to Google whether or not that was her first defense. It can't have been. Surely she's done it on...
It's certainly her first major title defense, I think. Like, kind of not on Dynamite, like in a pay-per-view event.
Okay.
She's been suspended since the end of December, hasn't she?
Yeah, for powerbombing everyone. Yeah.
For powerbombing everyone is an amazing reason to get suspended. That's why I'm not allowed back at work at the moment.
I was Googling Nyla Rose. I've just found something out which I did not know.
Oh, I know exactly what you've just found out, because I wanted to mention this.
Nyla Rose is the first transgender woman to win a world
That's
championship.
right.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So the incredible thing with this is that kind of, again, looking at the tone of how AEW portray themselves, this isn't a thing for them. They don't need to make a deal out of it because it's nothing.
You're right.
And that's amazing because imagine if this was WWE.
Oh God, Stephanie would be out there every 5 minutes.
This
used to be a guy. Hey, look how amazing we
It
are.
would be so insufferable. And so, absolute credit to AEW, the way they've kind of worked with Nyla Rose. And not only that, kind of when she won the title, there was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of stupid people in the world who kind of were saying a man's won the title and stuff like that. Obviously, complete nonsense. And a lot of the AEW, and to the credit of the WWE as well, a lot of kind of WWE wrestlers as well all came out and said, the fuck are you talking about? So
yeah. I mean, I am denied then about whether or not I should mention it, but I did because I had absolutely no clue, and I think you're right because it could easily have been made a big deal. I mean, I would imagine she doesn't want it to be a big deal because it shouldn't be at this stage. It's
a big deal in the fact that it's very progressive and very good. That's a big deal, and I'm happy about that. But generally,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. Okay. Anything else about that match? I mean, we should say one of the funniest bits and the coolest bits was when Nyla did chuck Shida through the poker table and then just turned to the camera and said, "Always bet on black."
Yeah, that was
funny.
It was funny. Yeah, it was really well timed. Actually, kind of like the turn to the camera, the look, and the delivery.
Yeah,
the trash talking it is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I do think there is a talent to Nyla Rose. I think she's still developing her wrestling skills. I don't think she's there yet.
No, although they did mention on commentary she's been wrestling for quite a while.
Really?
I can't remember how long it is, and it's because I'm bad at this. But I remember being surprised at how long it was because I thought it'd be only been a few years, but I think it was like 5 or 7, something like that, maybe more.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I think she's definitely improved a lot since she started in AEW. She's on an upward trajectory, definitely.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I don't think there's an awful lot more to say about that specific match, but obviously nice for Shida to now have the belt, and fantastic news for my draft.
Yeah, very good news for your draft.
My roster.
The first thing I did after that match was check the rosters to see, did I get Shida? Nope, I got Rio. Where the fuck's Rio at the moment?
Oh dear. Right, okay, moving on then to the AEW Championship match, which was between Jon Moxley and Brody Lee. We won't do this in every single pay-per-view, but Jon Moxley, my guy, Brody Lee, Sam's guy.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. The grudge match. So, Adam, how do you think your guy did?
Damn good. Still got the belt, or got the belt back, rather, because obviously Brody Lee's been carrying that around for the last few weeks. I did enjoy the package because I've been dipping in and out of Dynamite. I have watched some stuff, but I must say my weekly or week-to-week wrestling has gone down during lockdown. But I enjoy what they've been doing with Brody Lee. I was worried when he turned up as the Exalted One, but
yeah, me too.
I think he's looking good, and I've really enjoyed watching a full match of his, and particularly to think where these two have come from and now what they're doing was really fun.
See, I really think I've always thought that WWE missed a trick with Luke Harper. Like 2015 or so, they gave him a singles push. They put him in the Survivor Series team. They gave him the IC title. It looked like they were going to go big time with him, and they just folded on it. And the thing is, he's got a unique look to him, and he's got some moves in the ring. He is surprisingly agile for someone his size.
And brutal. Just really hard hitting. It feels pretty real. Like, it feels like he's genuinely like kicking someone in the face.
Yeah.
And when you watch him wrestle, he does feel like such a WWE guy, like the sort of guy they deliberately snap up. He's big, he's fast, he's strong. It's weird.
I think kind of like he came into WWE's main roster in a weird time when kind of like all of a sudden it was starting to move over to kind of like the 200-pound kind of like smaller wrestlers. And so he kind of just ended up being a part of this Wyatt family and just never really getting to kind of push through. But yeah, I think he's a really good wrestler. I love his running big boot where he just kind of falls down on one knee and absolutely smashes the head in.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, He's got some moves that look great. I love the drop kick, on the outside when Mox was kind of in midair. That looked really nice. And I feel like this match sort of built really well. It was again another match where you think, wow, if you'd had a hot crowd, it would have been massive and huge reactions, because there were some great moments. I mean, obviously, Brody Lee getting flipped into the table and smashing his ankles into that barricade, that looked nasty. If slightly clunky to get going, like Lee trying to get up onto Mox's back looked a bit, it was a bit rubbish, a bit slow, but the end result was good. And then obviously the superplex and the suplex into the cards. Did you see that nail that was sticking out of the wood near the cards?
No.
When Mox went through it, there was a little like plank of wood on the floor with a nail. Obviously they built that with just literally wooden nails, and I just thought, wow, that could have been terrible.
Christ,
I reckon Mox would have embraced it.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I think kind of like this match had a really nice story to it, and just kind of, you can tell these two know each other really well. Like they wrestled in CZW years and years ago, and sort of kind of come up through the wrestling at the same time. Obviously, kind of their careers quite entwined with each other.
They referenced that, didn't they, in comms?
And
I thought.
Good.
I wonder if they'll reference WWE. What? And I thought, why not?
Yeah.
Why don't they just say it? Who cares? The WWE might pretend they don't exist, but why not just acknowledge it?
Yeah, they didn't though, did they?
No, they didn't.
No.
Yeah. I think kind of like maybe they're not allowed to mention like their names in WWE. I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah, that
Might be
could be true.
something weird. What I found cool is that, well, I don't know about cool, but by the time we got to this match, obviously we'd already had the Cody match and the Dustin match. And I was like, oh, maybe we're going to get an AEW match with no blood in it. Or a pay-per-view with no blood in it.
Yeah, when they did that paradigm shift through the ramp, and then
that was cool.
You saw the guys putting on the gloves. You know it's bad news when they're getting their gloves on. I mean, you could argue they should have been wearing gloves throughout anyway.
Do you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What I really liked about this match was the ending was very New Japan. The idea of do a finisher, kicks out at one, just do the finisher 3 more times, and then put a chokehold on him.
Yeah.
It made me serious pop when he kicked out at one. I love a kick out at one.
Me too.
Especially that late in a match. It's so good.
After everything he'd been through, a kick out at one was very like, whoa, okay, cool. This is serious business.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was good. But after the bit where they went through the ramp and then he came up bloody, I thought it went on, like the last couple of minutes of this match I thought was super. Like really intense, just smashing stuff at each other. Really
Agreed.
Cool.
Definitely. I think it's so good to book Brody Lee this strongly as well. I didn't really necessarily expect, I thought he might be sort of mid to upper card, upper mid card even, rather than having a title match and actually being booked so strongly. The fact that he did that kick out at one and then had to basically be choked out just shows what they think of him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very strong booking for him. Neither wrestler comes out kind of looking weak from this. I think kind of it's likely to be the end of the feud, because I think kind of there's more you can do with the Dark Order and Brody Lee. And kind of like the title stuff, probably going Brian Cage's way for a bit now.
Yeah, he probably will drop down to that upper mid card, as I said.
I could see Inner Circle Dark Order feud kind of being pretty decent, if that's kind of a route they go down.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. I'll get up for that.
Yeah, does sound good. And also, Sam, Total Podcast Pro, mentioning the Inner Circle, just so we have a nice segue to the next match. The main event, the Stadium Stampede match between Inner Circle and the Elite and Matt Hardy. Fucking hell. I mean, let's start at the beginning. How amazing did it look? Just the entrances, the huge stadium, the ring in the middle of it. It was so exciting right from the off.
I was a little disappointed the Elite and Matt Hardy didn't come out in like football jerseys as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Although it kind of makes sense. It totally makes sense for the Inner Circle to do it. They all looked great. Like their egos and things, it worked really well.
The Inner Circle is a fantastic faction. They've really
It really is.
done such a good
so
job.
well together, don't they? They complement each other really well. Like you got Ortiz and Sammy Guevara and Jericho with like comedy stuff that works really well. And then you got Jack Hager as just this muscle.
Yeah.
It's just I think they work so well together. They give you so many different options.
Yeah, for me, any faction that kind of can bring both heel and comedy together is always going to be pro in my books.
Before the match, obviously, they had quite a big old promo video and sort of talking about the history of this feud. And at the start of it, I was like, oh, come on. You're laying it on a bit thick here. You've only been going for a year. But then actually, when you think about it, this feud's kind of been going for the whole year. Basically, obviously, it's ramped up in recent months. And actually, again, looking at both teams and then the addition of Matt Hardy towards the end, it is worthy of this. And what a match. What a blow-off match.
This is it, is that this was the punctuation point on the Inner Circle versus the Elite. I think it's the end of the feud. I can't imagine... I mean...
I think it should be, yeah.
Yeah, like, if they said, hey, that's it, now everyone's going to go on and do their own things... Like, I say do their own things and like not split up, but sort of like, you know, Hangman and Kenny are going to have to, you know, defend the tag titles against Best Friends. So that's probably one direction. As for everyone else, who knows? But
yeah, come back to it again in future, I'm sure. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho wants to take some time off at some point again, although he's not as if he's going to go on tour. So actually, perhaps not. Perhaps he's happy doing this. But yeah, it just... It's so good. I mean, what are your thoughts? I just absolutely adored this. The whole thing I loved.
Yeah, I thought the rest of this pay-per-view was okay, and I was kind of flagging a bit by this point because it's been quite long. But by the end of this match, I was like, this is amazing. I absolutely adored it. Hilarious
at times.
I did really enjoy this, but obviously kind of like... The elephant in the room here is it comes very much off the back of the Money in the Bank match, which kind of was a very similar theme. And I feel like maybe, I don't know, I was a little bit kind of post-produced wrestlinged out, I guess.
Oh, really?
A little bit. Just kind of like... The thing is that I think WWE, right, with the Money in the Bank match, it was really funny in places it wasn't meant to be funny, like Baron Corbin staring into a mirror after smashing it, or kind of Baron Corbin killing off two wrestlers, I guess, or like, you know, Dana Brooks smacking her head on the thing, like stuff like that is not meant to be kind of as funny as it was, and it was.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah,
that's usually a bad thing, but yeah, okay.
I suppose, yeah. Whereas this was kind of very aware of how funny it was being a lot of the time. And I think kind of like for that stuff, you've really got to be in the right mindset to enjoy the joke with them. And I think it landed a lot of the time. I think kind of stuff like the Matt Hardy drowning sequence was really good. But then some stuff for me didn't quite land, like the suplexing the whole way down the field.
Oh, I love
that.
Especially with Matt with a broken rib. Like,
yeah,
that's insane.
The great thing about that is because he did 3 of them in a row and then it cut away. And then I thought, oh my God, are they going to come back and they're still going to be doing it? And then they did. And it was brilliant. So, and I thought they were just going to be going to the ring. And the fact that he actually just went and did the touchdown and then the celebration, and obviously the ref didn't like it. He takes out the ref.
Maybe it just hit me at the wrong moment, but yeah.
I see, the interesting thing with this is that I heard the pay-per-view was really good before, and I was watching it and I was kind of thinking, am I missing something here? Because I'm enjoying some of this, but I'm not really into it. And this match made me really into it. I just thought there's so much happened. Like if we tried to list every single little bit that happened, we'd be here for ages. They fit in so much, and the humour was amazing because they've got comic geniuses in wrestling when it comes to the likes of Jericho and even like Ortiz. Ortiz is so good in the swimming pool bit.
Yeah, where if you, I can't swim
was hilarious. And then when and Santana as well, when he was like, they were drowning him and he was turned to the ref, was like, ask him. Just absolutely hilarious.
I think kind of like bringing Matt Hardy in was a stroke of genius to this, because obviously, you know what, if there's one person who is a master of this kind of post-produced wrestling and someone who knows his character as well as he does, it's him.
I'm still a little bit on the fence about Matt Hardy in AEW.
Well, this has put me in his favour.
This was brilliant. This was perfect for him. I thought he was great in this.
I also thought that even though it was post-produced, it was only really when it got to the swimming pool stuff with Matt Hardy that was really obvious, in the sense that everything else they could have just filmed live. I'm sure they didn't. But, you know, Hangman Page coming in on the horse and then hunting around, and then going to the bar. The whole extra scene in the bar, just so many great moments.
Favourite
Oh my
scene, that bit in the
goodness.
bar with Jack Hager and
Yeah.
the drinking, and then Kenny comes in.
I'm going to call you out on this now because it's the second time. It's Jake Hager.
What did I say?
Jack.
Did I say Jack? Jake? Well,
Or maybe I'm just
Okay.
mishearing you.
It's John's thing. He pronounces things wrong.
I'm sorry.
that's my gimmick, man.
Remember, this podcast is a
Stepping on
hobby. If this was his job and he was getting things wrong, then I'd be worried. In fact, I'd maybe expect him to resign.
I was really hoping that you were going to call him out on it, so I didn't have to be the heel.
I'm glad someone did, because otherwise I would look like an idiot.
That's true.
I don't
Or
think
more
there's
of an idiot.
anything that looked worse than kind of him being dragged along the bar with his bare skin, because it didn't go quite as smooth as I thought. I don't know. In my head, I was like, he's going to zoom by there, and it just looked.
Explains
a
the
bit-
plastic cups, eh?
Well, yeah. What about the bit where he did the backflip up off the bar? That was insane.
That was
Yeah.
wild, actually.
Well,
yeah.
that was all the setup for the buckshot lariat off Kenny Omega. Fucking amazing.
yeah.
Oh, and the whole thing, I was thinking, these Jacksonville, if you've got any crossover between Jacksonville Jaguar fans who are like maybe are season ticket holders and AEW fans, they're going to be going in that bar being like, we're playing pool on the table where Hangman Adam Page got smashed.
That's a good point, actually. You see, I tell you, the bit I really found funny was the Jericho arguing with the 2 count and then going to, I suppose, the American
Replay
football
Challenging the play.
equivalent of VAR.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was good.
Again, I mean, and also the bit that made me laugh the most of the whole thing, genuine, like almost jump for joy, it made me so happy, was the Judas effect to Jackson DeVille, the mascot. It looks so funny.
That
It
was
looks
brilliant.
so funny. And then shortly after that, they had Jericho, was it Nick Jackson sort of super kicking Jericho into that little net and being like, it's good. And even Nick Jackson was laughing. It's just full of laughs.
And then, of course, all of the callbacks to Sammy Guevara basically getting run over by Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. On
Did any of you see? Did anyone
spot.
see? Oh my
Yeah.
god! How did they
I
do
watched
that?
that match.
Wild.
I mean, Sammy's a madman.
Yeah.
It looked so brutal. I've rewatched that so many times, thinking, how is he not dead?
I
Yeah.
was wondering if they were going to do it again, because obviously they did bring
I thought
out
they were
the
going to do it
car.
with a horse at the start. I was like, don't do it with a horse. Come on.
That's exactly my thought. It was like AEW have got previous kind of using animals and a little bit of it being like, oh, do they
hold
really
on.
want to be part of this?
Would you rather headbutt a golf cart or a horse?
Ooh.
I'd rather take that bump from a golf cart than a horse.
No, definitely a horse.
No, a horse is like a ton of muscle charging towards you. Golf cart is just
Yeah,
plastic.
but think of it like this, John. Like, kind of a horse is going to be 1 horsepower. Golf cart, multiple horses made of
man,
metal.
Oh, you scienced me there, Sam.
Yeah.
You're right.
I actually found out this the other day, because when it comes to horsepower, they're referring to just a standard horse. A racehorse actually has a horsepower of about, and this is the key bit that I should remember and I've forgotten, but we'll pretend and go with, it's something like 5 or 6. So like a racehorse has a horsepower of 6.
Ah, that's a great fact that you
I mean, it might not be right.
you
Nearly got
botched
right.
the ending of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'd go for the horse because at least, yes, it's got some of that muscle on it. It's going to be slightly more pillowy than a big bit of plastic or metal.
Oh god, I think you guys are lunatics. Golf cart all day.
So kind of obviously the chasing Sammy down the field kind of leads us to the final major spot.
Yeah.
Which was wild.
Wild. Yeah.
So
very
high.
wild.
They dropped for about 10 seconds. Is that an exaggeration?
No.
This is John
I
level
felt like I made a
exaggeration.
cup of tea.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they did a great job with that. Like, kind of, I was thinking, even if that's a massive crash mat.
Well, did you think they were just going to be doing it on the roof of that thing?
Yeah, I was kind of like, what the fuck is that thing? If they just put it there for him to do a one-winged angel on. I didn't
Yeah.
realise it was a diving board to do a huge one from.
It looked amazing.
Nasty. Very. I love Sammy. Sammy, one of the standout people in AEW for me. I think he's amazing.
Yeah. He's so funny doing the stuff with the sprinklers just before that.
Oh yeah.
Thinking he was the last man
Sprinklers.
standing and that he'd won.
Oh, what,
I mean,
what a legend.
Just looking at my notes, there are a couple of other things that we missed because there was so much. Obviously, we had Matt Jackson flipping off the goalpost. That's
Oh my
fucking
god,
cool.
yeah.
That looks
is a really
very.
cool thing to do.
I thought they'd be kind of less wobbly.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, it's only one arm.
Yeah, I guess
You know, coming up from the ground. I did enjoy when JR, when they talked about it looking like a hockey fight disguised as a wrestling match in a football stadium. I think those guys, I was looking at, when they were lined up at the start, I was looking at Jericho thinking the amount he's been through in his career, this will be a match he'll remember.
Yeah.
Because it's just so different, so unique. And if I was rating it, and in fact I did rate it on Grapple, I'd give it a 5 stars. Because I absolutely loved it. The whole thing throughout, there was some good wrestling moves. There was comedy.
Such a Young Bucks mark.
It's my first Young Bucks 5-star match. Who would have thought it? But it was just everything about it, and I think particularly the fact that it was in a big stadium like that. I mean, the connections that they've got, obviously, with the Jaguars. Well, Tony, the Khan family is quite key to that actually being allowed to happen, because you wouldn't expect them to be able to get access if they didn't have that deal. But yeah.
I keep thinking, like, one of the better metrics in my head to kind of like measure all these matches by is always kind of like, would I be wanting to watch this if we weren't in some weird pandemic lockdown? And in the case of both this match and the Money in the Bank one from, you know, when they did the corporate tower thing, the answer was yes to both of those.
Yeah. And in fact, I feel that you've got to say yes to Taker, AJ, and Cena.
Yeah,
Wyatt.
I think it's a great success. I wouldn't want to see it overdone.
Nope.
And I think of we're running into danger of that happening soon.
If it's still unique and different, then yeah. I mean, I know there are people who are complaining, saying, yeah, this isn't wrestling. I mean, you can make lots of things look really good if you're going to edit them. So yeah, you're probably right in that sense, because it's supposed to be about the live spectacle and things happening off the cuff, but it's just really entertaining, and it's what we need at the moment. Like, to be able to just sit and laugh.
Quite.
The entertainment like this is great fun.
Neat stuff.
Cool. Okay. Well, that is it for the key matches. We're going to do best of the rest now, and I don't necessarily think anything's going to top that match. Although, Sam, you weren't 100% keen, so I'm guessing you've got another match that you did really enjoy you'd like to talk about?
There were two, but let's go with MJF Jungle Boy.
Oh, you bastard. I was going to pick that one.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with the Lance Archer versus Cody instead then. And then...
Oh, I was not going to pick that one.
Grand. Oh, good, because I can talk about
Sam.
that. Because I thought that
Lance Cody.
Yeah. Lance Archer is probably one of the most improved wrestlers I've ever... Like, just out of nowhere as well. Going from Kess and kind of being a bit meh to this new... Murder Hawk lunatic guy. I'm loving it. I think he's really good.
He's had a
It probably
great year.
started at that what was it, last year's G1?
Yeah, it started at the G1.
He was amazing.
Yeah, like, kind of, he obviously came out of the G1 as part of, he's always been part of Suzuki-gun, but like kind of with this new look, I want to say new moveset. I never really watched him that much before because he was just never that interesting to me, but he just kind of, I don't know, there's something about him. That first match in the G1 with Ospreay was kind of like wow, this is better than it has any right to be. And he just seems to be going from strength to strength with that at the moment. And I think this he was really impressive in this match.
Yeah. So obviously this was for the TNT Championship, we should say that.
Yeah.
The introduction of the sort of mid-card belt. Brought to the ring by the very old-looking, although in good shape, but the very old-looking Mike Tyson. Very short-looking as well. John, thoughts on Mike Tyson?
I don't think he should be there because he's a convicted rapist.
What have you got against convicted rapists?
Also, there was a bit during the match where they cut away to him and he was yawning.
Yes.
I'm like, get out. Come on, Tyson, go back to bed. I thought this match was okay. I've loved all the build to Archer. I've loved the whole Jake stuff. I think he's added so much to it. And I love what they've been doing with him. They've made him feel like a proper monster, like almost like Suzuki, where he just beats up everyone around him. I just thought this match was long and kind of slow. I kind of wanted Archer to win it as well.
I wanted Archer to win it as well, but I think kind of there was a lot of nice stuff in this match. I really enjoyed, like, Cody doing the DDT right in front of Jake, and then Archer doing the spinebuster right in front of Arn Anderson.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
That was. Hey, did you see when they came out? Did you see Arn Anderson's play card? You know he comes out with
Yeah,
a
with
sheet.
Wardlow.
Yeah.
versus
Cody versus Wardlow. What a fail.
Yeah, don't bring a running order out onto... That's mad.
I mean, unless I thought that was a fail, they just grabbed an old sheet. But then, maybe they were like, right, Wardlow, similar size and stature as Lance Archer. That the play-by-play stuff we did in that match worked particularly well. So let's run through some of the same stuff just to catch a break for old Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Defending the arm.
Yeah,
After you called out Ole Anderson last week.
yeah. Fuck that guy. He's 77. I can still take him. But Arn, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to see Lance Archer kind of like in AEW. I think he's going to do well here.
Especially with Jake, who's
for sure.
I mean, he looks rough, but he's doing a great job on the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, again, like just the walking the ropes into the moonsault press, fucking wild for a guy of his size.
That was wild. Yeah, that was cool.
What about, how do you feel about the way it sort of turned when, Jake came out with the snake, and then Tyson took off his shirt, revealed two swans?
Yeah.
His arms? Does that work? When you do that, swan, make your arm look like a swan?
Oh, I thought you meant like he had tattoos of swans. I was like, did he?
Is that a good thing, the swans? Is it
Yeah, because, it's a way of like posing your arm to look like you've got a massive...
You're doing it right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're doing it right now.
I am. Oh, and it looks phenomenal. You guys talk.
He can take off his shirt and pose, but at the end of the day, it's also Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's facials were a bit over the top, but interesting that then Archer sort of fell apart from there.
Yeah, no, I think kind of that was another part of the match I actually really liked, was the idea behind kind of managers actually playing a pivotal role in the wrestler's development. Like, I don't think that often happens in wrestling very much. Normally a manager is just someone who kind of accompanies the wrestler to the ring and kind of, I don't know, plays interference and stuff. But, like, to actually have one who is kind of calling plays or kind of actually giving advice to the wrestlers, again, it's a very New Japan thing. It's what they do with Gedo and Jay White.
Yeah, cool. I think, this could be interesting where that leads, actually. Good point.
Nice. Okay, so Cody is the TNT champion. Quick thoughts on the belt?
Yeah, garbage.
I think they did justify it, didn't they, by saying the gold hasn't been put on yet due to the coronavirus stuff.
Do you think that title would look much better with gold and red?
I don't know. When it came out, it did look so plasticky and awful, didn't it? It did look bad.
It did.
But hopefully it will get better.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, so next, John, do you want to talk about your best of the rest, which was...
Yeah, so I'm going to pick MJF versus Jungle Boy, a match that I didn't really have much expectation going into, but I thought they put on a really good show. Just a really good wrestling match, like great back and forth. MJF has got his character nailed down so well, and Jungle Boy is like the perfect foil to it. Like, he's such a good baby face. Like, everyone loves him. He jumps all over the place. Solid.
These two are surprisingly much more technical wrestlers than I gave them any credit for.
Yeah, there's some lovely transitions and counters and stuff.
Yeah, the sequences at the start were excellent. And I love the fact that the sort of dastardly heel stuff played into it with MJF right from the start, faking the knee injury. And then, Jungle Boy selling that injury throughout the match. And it actually having an effect on the story of the match and the moves that could or couldn't be made.
Yeah.
And it looked real, So often you'll see a guy try and do a move and then hold his back and not be able to do it, and then 2 seconds later pull off that move with ease. Whereas I felt that he sustained it throughout, and it worked really nicely.
Yeah, quite a lot of the matches on this card felt quite long, or at least for me.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
This was another long match actually, but I think it flew by. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think kind of as far as traditional wrestling matches go, this was the best one on the card. Like, as far as,
You're probably right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Great match.
Good. If I was to mention the best of the rest, I think it probably would have been, it was definitely Jungle Boy versus MJF, and then probably Cody Lance. And I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, I don't think anything else falls under that.
Shall we mention the Casino Battle Royale at the beginning? The ladder match?
We should probably touch on it. It was fun. I didn't have any issues with it.
Yeah, I want to mention it because it's like it's kind of worse to the rest in a way for me. Well, not no,
okay.
that's harsh. That is harsh because it's not as bad as the Penelope Ford Statlander match, which again wasn't terrible. It's just a bit dull and not needed. But this, I wanted to, because this pay-per-view was on Saturday night, and I love AEW for that because it gives us a little bit more time to watch. Sunday night, I was planning on making some headway with this, got a bit distracted with some other bits and bobs. Just before I was planning on going to bed, I thought, I'll get ahead of myself. I'll just watch the first match. Fucking 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Did it really go that long?
Well,
Yeah.
that was with all the intros and then
Right.
everybody coming out the match and then some stuff afterwards. But it was so long. Maybe it was because I watched it late at night. It felt really long to me. Did it feel really long to you?
I didn't actually notice that. I mean, I wouldn't have believed you if you had not told me that it was that long. But yeah, I don't know. Like, kind of, I thought the match was decent enough. I don't think it quite performed to the level I would expect from a ladder match.
The match was actually 28 minutes 30, so that is a
Okay.
big difference to what I said. But it was like basically the timer on the feed I was watching was 45 minutes when I turned it off to go to bed.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, yeah, let's have a look. Was that the longest match? No, the main one was 34 minutes, but this was the second longest at 28:30. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were lots of good moments. And there's obviously some incredible wrestlers in there. I mean, Darby Allin with that skateboard
Holy shit, that spot.
fall.
Darby Allin went
Madman.
all in.
He did. I'm
always
concerned about
does.
him. He's going to
Yeah.
have a horrendous injury at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. Come on.
It's going to be like Eduardo or Aaron Ramsey. It's going to be some horrendous broken bone, and we're going to have people vomiting.
Drafted a high-flying wrestler whose gimmick is skateboarding, and you're not expecting him to get injured.
Hey, he's not in my draft.
Is he not? I thought he was.
I wish he was.
Ah.
I'm pretty sure Brett got him.
Yeah, I think
I have a very interesting question for you guys. Yeah, that's right. It's interesting. What do you guys think the relationship is between Taz and Brian Cage?
Oh, I was really interested by
Lovers?
that. What?
I was going to say, they're either lovers or he's his manager.
I assume a manager.
Yeah,
Surely.
what else would it be?
Exactly. Like Jim Ross kept bringing
Driving
it up.
instructor?
It would be such a great storyline if it was lovers, though, wouldn't it?
Oh my
Good
God.
Lord.
That would be amazing. I love Taz as well. I used to,
Yeah.
as a kid,
I
he
like
was
Taz
one of
too.
my favourite wrestlers.
Just because he's short, right?
Kind of, yeah.
They're smashing it with the managers, aren't they, AEW?
Oh, really are, yeah.
Very good. I'm quite excited about Cage as well. Like, he's one of those guys. When I first saw him wrestle in Lucha Underground, I thought he was just going to be one of these big muscly dudes, like an old WCW guy.
Same.
But the guy's got skills. He's really good in the ring. He's
Yeah,
really good.
he looked brutal. I love the F10, F500. I don't know what they called
Yeah.
it. But he cleaned house.
He did. He looks terrifying.
I just want to say as well, I think this is Kip Sapien's best out in AEW. I thought he was brilliant in this match.
They're
Just a little correction there. Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian.
Kip Sapien is interesting. Yeah, I mean, he is a Homo sapien, so you're close.
I'm just going to change my notes.
John's going to quit the pod soon.
Sabian.
But this could just be the full hardcore correct John pod, and then we'll go back to normal next week when Brett's here.
No, but it was a really good match. I really liked seeing Luchasaurus as well. He was just kind of...
Arsehole.
What I really enjoyed was the bit when Orange Cassidy was trying to put the
All right.
to do the ladder,
All right.
the ladder at the start. It was so funny. He didn't understand how a ladder worked.
I loved it when he comes out to the ring. The first thing he does is goes over to the commentators and just asks, "What's this match?"
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
yeah,
Lots of great characters.
Lots
Even
of
Colt
great-
Cabana
Yeah.
came across well.
amazing. Loads of good moments in this match. I feel like it was missing some big spots, but
I think there's too many people, actually.
yeah, I'd probably
Yeah.
agree with that.
I kept on expecting them to say this is the last entrant, and they didn't. What about the little? We had Jimmy Havoc and Penelope Ford come out with best friends, and we had Marco Stunt with his little mini ladder.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep.
Pretty funny. But yeah, mostly my main takeaway was that it was extremely long. But again, just because I watched it at the wrong time, clearly.
One last takeaway I want to take from this is that kind of, I think one day Scorpio Sky is going to be a huge singles star.
I know. I feel like they're maybe building him up for that.
I think they might be.
He's got there's something there.
He's
There's
got
definitely
everything
something
he
there.
needs to make it big, and I think he could do it.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to what I expect will be a very short worst of the rest. I mean, what do we have left? We've got Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears. I mean, it's probably harsh to say that's worst of the rest. It was just like a little throwaway, advancing the narrative.
I would say worst of the rest is putting a print on your underwear that's skin coloured.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, that was weird when he was down to his boxers.
Yeah.
It did look like his knob had popped out.
Wasn't quite sure about that.
Actually, no, it looked more like a bollock had popped out. Didn't
Yeah.
it? It's very round.
I kept thinking that Sean Spears looks a lot like a white Minoru Suzuki at the moment.
No, I don't get that vibe at all.
No,
Maybe it's just me.
I think it may be. But yeah, I think it'd be unfair to say that was the worst of the rest because it was quite well done, but you can't score it highly. Well, I quite liked the fact that they teased the music and then it was Spears who did it, and then the music came out again, and then he was actually there. You know, Brandy comes out, and then he's standing behind.
Yeah, it was alright.
And it's always funny to see somebody wrestling in sock garters.
Yeah, true. You don't get enough of that these days, do you?
You really don't. No. Why do people wear sock garters? I know it's to hold up your socks, but why don't you just have decent socks? I mean, do your socks always fall down?
No.
I rarely, if ever, would pull my socks up. Despite what my teachers asked me to do.
If you are wearing a suit, you don't want skin showing, do you? You don't want your socks falling down a bit of.
But why would they fall down? Because you got shit socks that are too big for you.
Yeah, I guess
that does happen. The elastic wears out.
Yeah, maybe you've got like silk socks, just slides down.
But if you're wearing a suit, you're going to wear decent socks. You're not going to wear your old baggy socks.
You might not wear socks at all. I think that's a look.
Oh yeah, that is a look.
That's the Pete Dunne look.
That's the Pete Dunne. I was going to say.
Yeah.
What were you talking about?
Sock elastic.
Oh, AEW, that's it. Right.
AEW. So, what then? Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander? Could that be classed as the worst?
I thought that match was all right. I thought Sean Spears versus Dustin was way worse than Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander.
I think
they're both kind of nothing.
Yeah,
to me.
they were both a bit rubbish.
My worst of the rest would have to be actually that I just think this pay-per-view was too long. In lockdown, with no crowd, too long.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Get rid of these two matches that we're talking about.
Yeah,
now,
they definitely did not need to be. They didn't need a long card at all.
Right. Okay, let's move on to star performer. Picking out our VIP from the whole event. I'm going to go first. It's got to be Justin DeVille. Sorry, it's not Justin. Let me say that again. It's got to be Jackson DeVille.
I can't edit you when you get it wrong, but when I get it wrong, stays in.
Shit.
Staying in now, isn't it? Staying in now.
It really is. I can't complain about that, and also I don't edit this section. Listener might be interested to know that me, Sam, and John split the podcast into thirds after this, so we can edit really quick. And John will definitely be editing the final third. So I imagine he may well start chopping out bits of me saying awful things now into some weird sentence that I didn't actually say.
I'm not going to do that. It's too much work.
Okay, fine. Jackson DeVille, the mascot, is my star performer.
Is Jackson DeVille related to Sonia DeVille?
Probably.
Cool.
They do look similar. Who's yours, Sam?
I think it's Simi Guevara.
Oh, that's going to be mine as well. I'm going to Sammy.
Yeah. Okay, good. So those are the star performers. Overall rank now. Sam, have you got the spreadsheet open?
I do. I'm going to start doing loud typing.
Lovely, with your big mechanical keyboard.
Yeah.
Because you're living in 1999.
So I live as a gamer, Adam.
I am going to give this pay-per-view... Can you remind me what I gave Money in the Bank?
No, because I don't have it up at the moment. I have all the AEW ones up.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know what I gave it. I'm giving this a straight 8.5. Maybe an 8.75. No, 8.5. It was too long. There were some very good matches given that it was in front of no fans. But the main event was one of my favourite things I've ever seen. It really was. I had such belly laughs towards the end. Such belly laughs. Interesting.
Goodness me. That's your favourite pay-per-view of the year so far?
Oh, okay.
That's how scoring goes.
Well, I mean, when you do a main event like that, that's what I mean. It was so good that I Yeah, I'll stand by that. That's fine. John?
I'm going 8.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, I think I'm going 8 as well.
It'd be interesting to know what Brett thought if he got around to watching it. What do you reckon? What do you reckon Brett would have said? Would he have liked that main event?
I think he would have done. I think he would like all this pay-per-view, actually.
Yeah.
Right up his street.
He's an AEW guy.
I don't know, though,
Cool.
because Brett has previous not liking post-produced matches.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to tell.
He did like the Money in the Bank one, though, didn't he?
Well, this is interesting because Double or Nothing 2020 has scored the exact same as All Out 2019, 8.167 overall, sandwiching it between Full Gear and All Out. So,
did it do better than Money in the Bank? And why can't you tell us this? Isn't it last week's?
Because we've reviewed so many things.
It was last week's.
Yeah, but then if I sort the score by highest, I then there's more going on behind the hood here, Adam, than you are
privy to.
Yeah, there's a lot.
This is the first week where I haven't opened up the spreadsheet myself. I thought I'll leave this in Sam's capable hands.
No, foolish,
culpable hands.
Mad. Yes, it did better than Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank was 7.938. All Out, no, not All Out, Double or Nothing was 8.167.
Lovely. Okay, those are our thoughts. Let's have a break and get some listener thoughts.
Oh, good Lord. Emerald Frozen on the apron. He is a bad, bad boy. And ladies and gentlemen, that apron is not to play with. It's not to be trifled with or wrestled on.
Okay, so we've got some listener comments. Graham Hughes, he's been in touch. He actually sent us loads of great comments, but I've kind of just taken 2 of the best ones.
Yeah, Graham, are you furloughed? Because you sent us so many,
more than
messages.
My degree dissertation.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
But he says that's how you do a lockdown pay-per-view. Previous showed with Dynamite that a small ringside presence of other wrestlers provides that much needed extra atmosphere. Big Swole was having the time of her life there. Did you see Big Swole? She was starting on every wrestler that was coming down.
It works beautifully. Did you guys notice that they said, in fact, I didn't read about Raw, but in fact, they probably did it. Hopefully they did it. But that Raw and SmackDown are going to start having the NXT roster as the crowd.
Yeah, I noticed that on Raw yesterday. It's interesting.
Oh, so they did do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
I've watched some clips.
Any good? Which wrestlers were there? Was it like the lower card?
I don't remember, to be honest, because I was just watching the clips of the actual wrestlers themselves, but I heard the crowd shouting.
Yeah. I just
good
it obviously
reporting
worked
from
so
Sam.
well. Yeah, nice. I mean, it's a long old slog for those people to be stood there. Did you think that during Double or Nothing? I was like, wow, I wonder if they're getting refreshments.
I wonder how much of it is that. Do you reckon they pump any audio in? Because they were pretty loud the whole way through. Like, consistent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not sure.
Anyway, sorry, Graham.
Love seeing Vicky Guerrero there as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, back to Graham. Last bit, he says, Stadium Stampede, what a match. Had everything we love in wrestling. Humour, big spots, top stars, brutal moves, everything left out there. Page on his horse, then sodding off to the bar, Jericho and the mascot, balls to the balls, Matt Hardy changing personas. 8.75 out of 10 for my score. Not
That
bad.
was funny when he was chucking the American footballs at him. Because I said that probably hurt quite a lot, and he was definitely aiming for those balls.
Yeah, he definitely got run right on the point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes, we've got Broken But Glorious. Hope the Casino Ladder match becomes an annual thing. Really enjoyed that match. Plus, Cage is one of my favourites, so bonus he won. They also asked quite a good question, actually. Where does the Stadium Stampede match rank against the recent WWE cinematic matches?
Top of the list for me. I really enjoyed those matches, all 3 of them that they've done. I really liked, but this just was more jam packed with great stuff. I mean, it hasn't blown them away, but it's top for me. So,
it's hard, isn't it? Like the boat. Oh, sorry,
mate, sorry. Just went into
John, by all
presenting
means,
mode.
go for it, because I'm still thinking.
The Boneyard match was such a surprise because I think we all thought that was going to be garbage, but was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I think the Stampede was probably better than everything.
I'm going to break the trend here, because I think the Stampede was good. Like I said, I think kind of they're good for different reasons, but I think sort of the stuff WWE has done, maybe just because it came first, which kind of shouldn't be a factor, but, kind of is, I enjoyed it more.
Okay.
Yeah, fair.
Well,
they're all good.
One of our listeners, Jamie Reeves, says, top of the pile for me, had absolutely everything, including humour. Jericho and the mascot made me proper laugh for the first time in months.
Yes, Jamie.
It's amazing. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
Does he listen to our podcast?
I was going to say, he clearly hasn't been listening for a while. But that's fine, Jamie. That's absolutely fine.
Thanks, everyone, for getting in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, I should have actually teased this right at the beginning of the podcast, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure the people who entered will have listened all the way to the end for this, because in the last episode, the first ever episode of The Undertaking, we set a competition so you could win a wonderful print from our friend Adam Evans Pringle. It's an Undertaker print. It's got numerous different illustrations of The Undertaker doing his thing over the years. And I can also reveal that during the week, he sent me some stickers of some illustrations as well. So the winner is going to receive that print in the post with some stickers. And all you had to do was retweet the episode tweet that we put out last week. We had quite a few people do it. I've entered everybody's names into the random thing picker. Long-term listeners will know this is how we always pick our winners. I've entered everybody's name, and now it's randomly going to pick one. I'm going to do it live on the podcast. So exciting. The winner is Lauren C.
Yay.
Ooh, who I believe is Lauren C., the referee, who is one of the referees at Riptide.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
And who has, given us some lovely feedback in the past. So that is excellent. Lauren, if you're listening, then please DM us your address and we'll get that stuff in the post and we'll send some extra stickers as well. Thank you to everybody who retweeted that. It did well. We got quite a few listens to that episode, so we're really excited about The Undertaking, which is a good job because next week we're going to do it again, right, Sam?
That's right. It's Undertaking. We're going to be looking at Undertaker versus Jimmy Snuka, WrestleMania, and Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan, Survivor Series 91.
Yes. Ooh. It's going to be good. I am looking forward to that. Is it going to be good? We don't know. I think there's going to be lots to talk about.
The episode's going to be good. We just don't know if the match quality is going to be good.
That's true. Okay, so that's that. And then the week after that, we've got NXT TakeOver in your house.
Classic.
So I'm quite up for it. We haven't had an NXT pay-per-view during this period. Will there be some more interestingly produced main events in that?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So that's in 2 weeks. And then I reckon we'll have a week off after that because we would have done 5 or 6 weeks in a row. And we'll very much deserve it. Brett isn't here to tell us how to get in touch. Sam, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with us, you send an email to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com. You want to catch us on the socials? That's cool. We know what you like. You can catch us at Hardest Part Pod on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And we don't have a shop currently. Is that right?
Yeah, but we still have the shop in the running order every week, but Brett never mentions it because I think he took it down. I think he was ashamed of his work, even though we all love it.
Just like the Ultimate Warrior, we don't sell shit.
Yeah. But we should, I know we teased that the shop's coming back, so we should really put some pressure on Brett at some point. In fact, all of us can chip in with that. Hopefully we'll have a website coming soon as well. So that's another teaser, something to hold us accountable to. Anyway, we'll be back next week with The Undertaking. Thank you for listening. My name is Adam. Thank you and goodbye. Goodbye, Sam.
Gotta go get my eye test.
Oh,
to a castle. Ooh. And goodbye to you, John.
Goodbye.
That was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.